City of San Diego officials and community leaders are in a growing tizzy over the fate of Prop D. The measure would raise the city sales taxes by ½ cent. This week, the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce announced its support of Prop D. At the same time, a long list of major business groups announced their opposition. With me to talk about the pros and cons of Prop D for the business community are John Warren, editor and publisher of San Diego Voice and Viewpoint, and Bob Kittle, director of news planning and content for KUSA. So, Bob, why are we seeing such a division in the business community?
Well, because generally the business community does not want to pay higher taxes, because higher taxes, in this case a sales tax, is bad for the economy. It hurts businesses. In this case, the mayor of San Diego, Jerry Sanders, really put on a full court press to persuade the board of directors of the Chamber of Commerce to support the tax. And in the end, he prevailed. It's an unusual position. And as you said, there's a longer list of business organizations that actually oppose the tax.
That oppose it. And John, do they have good reason to oppose the tax?
Well, yes. Those who oppose the tax say it won't make any difference, it won't help, it won't solve a problem. What makes this workable now for the mayor and those members of the council who've endorsed it is the idea that with the ½ cent sales tax come at least a three-step program that will reduce the amount of money that the budget carries each year, limit how much of the new money that can be used, and identify potential additional savings with members of the council and others making reductions in budgets. So that's what's made it more palatable, because now it's in conjunction with something else other than just a ½ cent.
So this sounds like a good deal for the business community.
Well, not for the business community. It's not, especially at a time when the economy is so weak. To heap new taxes onto the economy, I think, is a terrible idea. Frankly, I think many members of the business community would say that what the city council needs is not a three-step program, but a 12-step program to get them off of their addiction to big pensions that are really bringing the city's budget into chaos. And that's for critics of the tax, that's the essence of the problem. It is the growing pension debt that needs to be addressed.
So it isn't the amount of the tax. They're not worried about a ½ cent sales tax.
Well, no, I think business leaders would tell you. And Phil Pace, who owns Phil's Barbecue, a prominent restaurant here, says, look, this is going to drive my customers away. It makes them less likely to go out to dinner. They get that bill and they see it's already almost 10%. This would actually raise the sales tax from 8 3/4 to 9 1/4.
All right, but I mean, it amounts to 50 cents on a $100 item. Is that not true? Will people really feel that?
Well, that's a very important question, because the people who sell higher end ticket items, such as automobiles, then obviously the taxes would be greater, and they're the ones who have the most concern. But some of the economists have shown that places like, I believe, Santa Barbara or Santa Monica, where there are higher sales taxes than we have here, that people are still spending. Because if the people want the item, the tax is based on where they're resident and not where they're shopping.
Okay, well, this week the city's police and fire chiefs released proposed cuts for their departments for the next fiscal year. Police Chief Lansdowne was clearly dire in his warnings about what budget cuts would do.
But I'm the chief of police in San Diego, and I am the expert, and I'm here to tell you that if I have to cut $15.9 million out of this budget, it's going to affect public safety. This is about money, and this is about a budget, and I've seen that budget, and I've looked at that budget, and I've worked with that budget, and everybody at City Hall to try to find a solution, and I don't see it.
What about the timing of this, John Warren?
Well, obviously, the chief's position is time to draw sympathy. When you show people, police officers and firefighters, and we have situations where things are burning longer because stations are closed, then that pushes a panic button. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's playing to sympathy to get the support, because they're going to benefit from the ½ cent sale tax.
So is that a good thing?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. From my standpoint, yes, it's a good thing, and the citizens are going to pay. From Bob's standpoint and others, it might not be.
Yeah, I must say, normally cuts like this for next year's budget, this is the budget that will start on July 1st of next year. We would be looking at these cuts being unveiled in April of next year. To suddenly unveil them in October of the previous year is clearly politically motivated to influence the voters on Prop D.
So that sounds like it's all part of the mayor's plan, right?
Certainly.
Of influence. How powerful is this mayor in terms of being able to convince people and glad hand people in that?
Well, you know, I still think the mayor is being given too much credit. Business community, people like Vincent Mudd, the task force that they brought forth this idea. It didn't just come forth, it come forth before. The mayor is now getting on the bandwagon along with these suggestions that are going to bring other elements to help balance the budget. But I don't give the mayor the credit because the mayor and the chamber are not the driving forces that they once might have been.
Okay, well, thank you very much, John Warren and Bob Kittle.